595-day of Russian aggression. Strait of Ukraine, the situation at the front. Today, significant events unfolded in the Donetsk area. Following Russia's failed effort to swiftly overpower Ukraine by a surprise influx of troops, the Russians amplified their aggressiveness and sustained their offensive. In terms of the primary thrust from Krasnohorivka to Berdychi, Ukrainian soldiers today provided deeper perspectives on the ground realities by broadcasting numerous battle clips. Predominantly, Ukrainian scouts unveiled a video from yesterday, showcasing how the Russians, with an excessive number of tanks and armored carriers, ended up causing a bottleneck on a local route. The clip presents around 20 varied vehicles, with a lead of 5 to 6 tanks, units from the 116 Territorial Defense Brigade. Encountered this vast convoy in the space between the train tracks and Krasnohorivka. A closer inspection reveals an unnamed tiny hamlet situated precisely where foot tree lines intersect with the railways, offering an ideal defensive stance. Many posed questions yesterday regarding Ukraine's apparent unawareness of Russia's planned massive strike. In reality, Ukrainians perceived the signs as soon as they became apparent. Notably, Avdiivka is encircled by large urban centers like Donetsk and Makivka. These metropolises, being industrial hubs with numerous factories, coal pits, and storage facilities, offer ample cover for clandestinely amassing troops. However, for deploying these hidden troops, Russians had to advance them, marking the moment Ukrainians discerned an impending large-scale offensive. Despite the short preparation time, Ukrainian troops rigged the entire front field with explosives. Geospatial footage from the region indicates several Russian tanks that confronted Ukrainian barricades were destroyed. Additional videos highlight halted and impaired Russian armored units due to mine detonations. Visible are explicit blast marks from anti-tank mines, with an untouched mine in proximity. Portions of these forces aimed for the Terracon, with clips from that zone showing 5 additional decimated tanks and carriers. The Ukrainian military spokesperson in Avdiivka noted that post such massive equipment losses, Russians ceased deploying tanks and armored units. Starting today, they've dispatched squads of roughly 30 soldiers. Russian narratives claim a successful capture of the Terracon and railway crossing, notwithstanding the setbacks. Currently, there's no tangible proof supporting this claim, although feasible, as instances exist where Ukrainians, outnumbered significantly, had to pull back. Ukrainians are strategizing that by momentarily yielding territory but retaining personnel, they can reclaim these spots later. This is postulated on the Russian forces depleting their attacking strength. Indicatively, Russians today refrained from heavy machinery and downsized their assault teams considerably. Subsequently, Russians began making headway across the field toward the village. One clip illustrates an armored combat vehicle getting targeted by a javelin. Its crew scrambled to take cover amidst the grass, but were rapidly decimated by artillery fire. In another video, a Russian armored unit is seen surprisingly navigating through not just one, but 2 fields successively. While Russian narratives suggest a triumphant raid and an ongoing storming of Sivan, Ukrainian troops counter-argue, indicating that this was merely a fraction of a larger battalion that, fortuitously, managed to penetrate so deeply but eventually met its demise. Regarding today's visuals from the area, the 53rd Mechanized Brigade of Ukraine pointed out a shift in Russian tactics. The Russians scaled back on heavy machinery and, intriguingly, introduced racing motorcycles in a bid to reach their objectives swiftly. Regrettably for the Russians, these expedited endeavors were cut short. The current dynamics in Avdiivka are challenging, yet, the noticeable dip in the Russians employing heavy artillery, and the notable shrinkage in their raiding team sizes has led to a somewhat subdued combat rhythm compared to the previous day's fervor. Authentications today reveal that the Russians endured the loss of over 100 tanks and armored carriers just yesterday. The exact state of affairs regarding the northern railways and the secondary tree line to the south remains ambiguous. However, Ukrainian leadership remains confident, asserting no loss of pivotal grounds. They are now gearing up for a retaliatory strike.